podcast where three bearded film fans watch the best and worst horror movies of all time. My name is Luke Kondo with Kate. I'm joined by my regular co-hosts, Mr.
Ben Errington, slightly delayed.
and Mr.
Andy Conduit Turner. Hello.
Here he is. He's back in the room. You did that intro with particular gusto this week. Was it because you didn't get to do it last week, which means it like built up inside you? And that was twice. All pent up with rage.
Blue balls, not blue balls, snowballs. The microphone I use.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you're right. I think I was all pent up. I completely missed it. I liked listening to the name game specifically. I like to see what you guys came up with.
How did you do?
I don't think I got any of them. No, I think I got, because you guys are quite fast. I think the gnocchi one was maybe my favorite, maybe because I like gnocchi.
Yeah. I think I had gnocchi like the day before we did that episode, so I might have had a little bit of gnocchi still in my belly.
It was destiny.
Yeah,
it was destiny. Yeah, I think mine were like pretty straightforward, but Andy took a leaf out of the Luke Condor book.
Yeah, I really tried to push it to the
limit
degree.
Yeah, and it was good. It was good times. It was fun. It was a fun episode. It was like 2.5 hours of
It's a good Rocky Horror chat, and Laura had loads of good things to add, so it was good.
Definitely, always a pleasure.
Yeah. So
yes.
So
back again.
Here to discuss. I tell you what, I really enjoyed watching the Rocky Horror Picture Show. It's really good.
Oh yeah, what do you score it, Luke, for the purposes
Good question.
Of the spreadsheet?
Ooh, wasn't expecting this curveball. I'm gonna give it like A-, I think.
Oh.
It's I don't know what to say. It's a classic film.
I'm assuming you've seen it before, if that's the case, then yeah.
Yeah, actually, the first time I saw it, I didn't really take to it. I was too young. I didn't know why are they singing and dancing? Why is Meatloaf doing that? What?
Yeah. What's Meatloaf doing singing? That's not what he's about. It's never
but now I'm a bit older. I tell you what, the only thing that grates me it would be an A+ if it wasn't for the song "Sweet Transvestite." He goes Transylvania, and every single time he goes ha ha. He goes lower, and I think the second time he needs to mix that up. The second time he needs to go up, or something. He needs to vary it.
Needs a key change.
It would have been an A+.
It's like no.
Yeah, it would have been A+ if not for that. But yeah, good job, guys. All around, well done.
Nice one, thank you. So this is the last episode before October, the month of All Hallows Eve.
Oh.
Do we have anything special planned for the podcast?
Why don't you tell us all about it, Ben?
Some secrets, obviously, we can't quite reveal yet because we're approaching episode 200. We've got the celebration planned with some sexy surprises. Not that sexy, maybe a bit sexy. But yeah, so we're going to do the 31 days of horror hangout thing that we did last year. So basically on the socials we just shared watch alongs with like 31 movies for every day of October, and then we shared the corresponding episode as well, and new episodes are included in that. So yeah, we're going to kind of do that, so keep an eye on our social channels, so at Hawk and Cleaver across the board, and we're going to share new episodes we're going to share old episodes, basically highlights from the last year with various different guests, encouraging everybody to watch movies. Might be some classics you've never seen before. You might discover something. So yeah, that should be fun. I quite like doing that. It's nice. It's nice to kind of look back and take stock of the year we've had, and we've had a good year on this podcast, covering some great films, had some really good guests. So yeah, always fun.
What are the bad films? We do the best and worst horror movies in this podcast, but what are the worst ones we've done? I don't think we've done.
I mean, I always struggle with this because we've done films like when Alice came and joined us a few months ago now. We did films like Pieces, which is at its heart is a bad film, but I enjoyed it a lot more than other films. that may or may not be mentioned later.
I think what we're good at, and we're just going to give us some plaudits now. We're just going to blow smoke up our collective asses. Even if the film's bad, I think that the act of talking about it on a podcast is always fun. So we've had some stinkers. We did in the last year we've covered Species. A lot of people would say that's a bit of a stinker. We've covered Doom.
Oh yeah,
bit of a stinker. Life Force. I don't think we were all too fussed with Life Force, were we? If I remember correctly. Oh, the new Wrong Turn. That didn't go down that well.
The film with 4 endings.
The film with 4 endings. Yeah. Obviously, we've covered some stinkers, but
we have some good. I find that we go through it, and I think we mentioned this last week. I find that my opinion is always shifted either up or down by probably a letter grade by the end of the time we've talked about it for an hour and change. Like 100%. It's kind of going through it and getting other people's take and really talking through it really kind of shifts that opinion just as it's settled, whereas sometimes you come out of a film and it's still in flux a little bit.
Yeah, 100%, which is why sometimes I like to do this podcast a little while after I've watched the film. I think I always enjoy it more. But also, if it's a great film, it can elevate the score and my perception of it. If it's a naff film and I've been kind of like forced to go through it with a fine tooth comb, I'd be even more angry at it.
It was, we did Censor, and I remember as I was watching it, I was like, this is a good, solid film, but when me and Andy were talking, I think you were absent on that one.
So you had the vid, right?
What's that?
I think it might have been. Yeah, July. It was when I had the vid. It was when I was in the throes of the vid.
As we were talking about that, my opinion changed quite a bit, and I came out appreciating it a whole lot more.
I've still been thinking back on that one. I think I like it even more than I did on the day.
There we go. It's just
I found especially as they were getting up towards doing like cinema releases over the UK recently. I found that I saw the trailer stuff and I was actually actively retweeting it saying, "Go and see this. Actually, it's dead good."
Yeah,
this is really good. So I guess the only thing to do is to dive feet first into horror news. I don't know why feet first and not head first, but I'm going to go feet first. That's like
you're tombstoning into the horror news.
I'm tombstoning into the horror news. I'm coffin dropping into the horror news. So this week, HBO's The Last of Us TV show gave us our first look at it with Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey from behind, overlooking like a landscape with a aeroplane in a state of
crashness.
It's been crashed. Yeah, and everyone went a bit crazy. And I went a bit crazy because I was like, oh yeah, that looks great. A couple of people messaged me and said, well, actually, John Crinnan, in particular, friend of the podcast, said, why do the graphics on this look worse than PS4?
That's true.
And I was like, oh yeah, look at that. Yeah, real life. Phew. But yeah, even from behind, you can kind of tell that they've encapsulated this. And I was talking to somebody about it yesterday. And I know it seemed too obvious, but just make the first game the first series. That's all we want, right? That's all we want.
Still not played the second game.
Still need to play both of them. Life's so hard.
I beg your pardon.
It's one of those games. I always suffer with this. When something's really good, I'm like, oh, I want to sit and play this properly, and then I'll never get round to it. But I will. I have a PlayStation now.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
You're like, oh, I don't want to blitz through this. And let's face it, most of my video game time, I think over the last few months, I think I'm playing things like Hades and stuff, which it means I can play it in the background with the sound off. Probably got a podcast on at the same time, so you got stuff to catch up with on that front, and you're just playing it. I haven't really sat down and enjoyed anything story based and immersive with all the things we had going on with the different moves and so on. Maybe I'll sit down. Obviously, the winter's coming. There'll be time to stay inside again.
You should treat yourself for Christmas. Give yourself the Christmas treat and play Last of Us. It is
Last of Us. That already cheer me up for the festive season.
It is excellent. Like it's I mean, I've not played it for a couple of years now, but it's like immediately up there with like the best games I've ever played. Like it's up there with Metal Gear Solid 1, and that's saying something.
Oh, and that's dead good.
Yeah.
Dead good.
Yeah, I need to get on and play it, but I'm aware enough of the story. It's one of those things that, like, incidentally, you know what the thing is. So again, maybe that's part of it as well. Like,
Think
I
about
know the
all
main story
those.
beats.
Yeah. Think about all those developers who've kind of whittled away years of their lives in the crunch period, and you're there like, I might not play it, might play it at some point, I guess.
Yeah, like of all of the big games that I'm likely to get to, that is like a key one because it has a story that I can just do and be done. Things like Red Dead Redemption that have, like, you know, massive open worlds and endless additional quests to go on, genuinely get like a chest pain thinking about playing them. It's like, oh. Because I know what's going to happen. I'll Assassin's Creed it. I'll go in there thinking I'm going to straight line this story, and then you don't. It's like, I could pile 20 hours into this tiny pointless minigame. I'm talking to you, Assassin's Creed 2, find 100 fucking feathers. Freaking days.
Oh god.
Yeah.
I've had flashbacks. But yeah, this show, very excited for it. Yeah, that's all I can say. Don't know much else about it. But yeah, first series, first game, and then there's like a period of time between the first and second game where, you know, if there's subsequent series, you can go crazy telling stories. But I would like the first game and I mean, they're probably going to add a lot of different things because it's quite a small cast of characters as well. And I imagine this show, they're probably going to be like introducing loads of people. Who knows? What
I'd like to see from it is, I think, just the restraint and to do tight storytelling. It doesn't have to be the exact plot of the games. That's fine to branch it out and so on. But what I hope would happen is that I'd rather see, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 seasons of really tight, really inventive stuff, then see this turn into another Walking Dead that perhaps goes on for a few more series than it should, and it ends with a lot of the audience being sick of it. I would rather something finish and everyone go, oh fucking, I'm so pissed off there's no more of that, than you know, wait for its quality to dip.
No, I agree. It would be nice if they just but yeah, very exciting. Looking forward to that. Talking of TV shows, there is an Amazon TV show, I Know What You Did Last Summer. Apparently there's a trailer that dropped this week. I haven't actually seen it yet, but does anybody know much about this? I think it's the first 4 episodes are coming out on October the 15th, with new episodes available every Friday after that. And it says here the series will culminate in a can't miss finale. Well, don't tell me that it's can't miss. I'll make that decision myself.
I mean, I guess if you've watched the entire season, then really that last one is can't miss.
Yeah. Have you ever done that? Have you ever watched a series and then got to the finale and gone, actually, not interested?
I watched all but the last series advert break of Lost and went, fuck it, last 15 minutes, can't be bothered. No, I haven't. I didn't do that. Would you like to speculate then as to whether the unmissable finale is directed by that kid that directed that one scene of the first one?
I mean, you'd hope so. That it could come full circle and give us that, isn't it? Yeah, you'd like that. That would be lovely. But Craig McNeil apparently is directing the show's pilot episode. He directed The Boy, a movie we've covered on the podcast. He directed Channel Zero Candle Cove. And he directed some of Castle Rock as well.
Wait, the Brahms boy.
Two Brahms, two Brahmius.
It says The Boy here, so
The Boy 2 back in the Brahms.
No, he's back at it in the Brahms. And he also directed some of Nosferatu, which again I think Nosferatu
in, like,
and
1912 or whatever it was. Jeez, he's got about a bit.
Yeah, he got cryogenically frozen in what?
Was that
30s?
Nos 4R2, that one.
Nos 4A2, yeah, that
Nos
one.
4A2.
A film in which a small robot begins street racing.
I think I watched
It's also a vampire.
I think I started watching Castle Rock and Nos for A2 for R2, and I don't think I finished it. Maybe just before the finale, I went, "See you later." I got things.
last advert break.
So modern takes on 90s slashers are quite big at the moment. Not necessarily remakes of stuff, but also like things that are inspired by these classic 90s slashers. Are they all a bit teen drama.
I like the way that there's that guy who does all the Blumhouse teen stuff. He did Happy Death Day. And I think he also did Freaky Friday. I quite like his take on it. Like the slashers seem to be, they're quite not meta, but they're quite tongue in cheek. The slasher element seems to be fun, but they just seem to be really well put together. Entertaining for me and my age group, as well as young people and their age group.
Both of those examples are great. Like I really enjoyed both of those things. They're amazing. So if that's the quality we can look forward to in I Know What You Did Last Summer, then probably count me in.
What's his? He's doing another one, a similar sort of vein, right? I think he has another. In fact, I'm going to do a little Google, find out what's going on there.
I mean,
give it a little googs.
I'd hope it'd be the same. Maybe I do need to watch the trailer to really confirm whether I want to invest my time in this, because I'm struggling to invest my time in TV shows. Like Midnight Mass is out on Netflix now, and I've seen a lot of good people saying a lot of good things about it. But I don't know if I can, because I had such a bad experience with Bly Manor that I know it's not going to be the same. But what if it is? I
like that I can tell what time of year it is just because there's a new Mike Flanagan show on. It's like, oh, it's autumn now. Cool. I know you didn't like the Bly Manor. I thought it was okay. I thought it was a bit slow, and I've got a feeling there might be a lot of lots of monologues in this one.
I think that was my biggest problem. I find it a bit pretentious, Bly Manor, and I wouldn't like to start watching this.
I prefer biologues. When they're talking to each other.
Two people.
That's my favorite type. I prefer when somebody finds a letter and then reads it out, and the voice of the person who wrote it comes in. Oh yeah. Oh, that's great. You love it. Love to see it.
That guy's name is Christopher Landon. He wrote and directed Scout's Guide to the Apocalypse. Oh, I beg your pardon.
I liked that. That was all right.
Yeah. Happy Death Day. Happy Death Day to you. Freaky. And the next one is We Have a Ghost, which is a man claims to have befriended a mostly harmless ghost who bears a likeness to the actor Ernest Borgnine and becomes famous on the internet. So I don't know what that's all about. It's got Anthony Mackie in it, and Jennifer Coolidge.
They all sound like great.
We'll give it.
No, I'll give it a go, and likewise, I'll give the new Mike Flanagan one a go as well. I enjoy his stuff enough.
Yeah, I think I'm definitely a bigger fan of his movies than I am his TV shows. But it's when his name's attached to something, it definitely makes me sit up and take notice. What else have we got? So the last piece of news here is that there's a poster for Scott Derrickson's new horror movie called The Black Phone, which has got the posters like Ethan Hawke in a creepy mask. I think the mask was designed by Tom Savini, because obviously, of course, it was. This is coming out in January. And apparently there's Ethan Hawke plays the Grabber, a sadistic killer. After being abducted by a child killer and locked in a soundproof basement, a 13-year-old boy starts receiving calls on a disconnected phone from the killer's previous victims.
Yeah.
Is it what? Yeah, very interesting. So that might be good. Every time I see Scott Derrickson's name, I always think, hang on a minute, and he making the new Doctor Strange? And I always forget every single time that is Sam Raimi.
Yeah.
So this is obviously what he's doing. He's dialing in. I think I also saw a piece of news this week as well. I haven't got it in front of me, but that Scott Derrickson's Sinister, which was apparently scientifically supposed to be the scariest film ever made, apparently isn't anymore. Did you see this?
Yeah, saw this.
No.
Yeah.
So apparently,
can you guess what the?
Oh yeah, I nearly did it then, didn't I?
Sinister 2: Sinister.
Slightly more sinister. No, it's a recent release. It's a release from last year. You'd say probably the most lockdown movie has ever locked down.
Oh, is it Host now?
Yeah,
is that the scariest?
Yeah, there's been a new study. And it's been awarded the title of the scariest movie of all time, according to this study. I don't know what the study was. Were you scared? I think it was like heart rate monitors and stuff. Which, I mean, I can totally understand why that would be a thing. Like, it makes you jump. But your heart might get into the same sort of state watching Fast and the Furious.
Yeah.
Who knows? I'm just picking holes in the study.
And then he just paused entirely and said, "Come on, scientists, sort out the environment or cancer or something. Don't waste your bloody time."
My favorite thing is when newspapers, not that I read many newspapers these days, but when newspapers call scientists boffins in a really like snide way, where they go like, boffins seem to think that now if you go for a run twice a week, you're going to live an extra 20 years. Boffins. Yeah. Boffins have done this test. But yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised because there are a few jump scares in that movie, which are big jump scares. Do I necessarily think that means a film is more scary than something else? Not necessarily, but I understand the science behind it.
So much of anything, do your own research, come to your own conclusions, question everything, guys.
Question everything, and make your own decision. What's the scariest movie of all time? You tell us. You tell me. Come on.
Start using my heart rate monitor watch to monitor my horror movie viewing, and I'll report back. I want to be a big boffin guy.
And you've got the credentials, Luke. 199 episodes right now of Horror Hangout. You put a white coat on that.
That means I've spent 199 films without a watch on. I'm monitoring my heart rate.
Already behind.
So, guys, as of episode 200, we'll be beginning the top 50 again. This time, all the same content, all the same discussion points, but we will be adding in a heart rate monitor score.
We won't talk about it. You just go in the show notes and there'll be a little image.
We probably are at a point now where we could start covering the same films again, because I think on an average I would like to leave it 3 or 4 years before I watch a film again. That tends to be what I tend to do. Luckily I logged them all like on Letterboxd, so I can see when I last watched it. I watched it 4 years ago. Definitely due a rewatch. So maybe we should just start again.
Yeah
would that be interesting?
I don't know.
Probably not.
Or 50, I don't know. Is there any other news on the
no, that is all I've got
on the broadsheets?
I'm afraid. Don't be greedy.
So have you guys watched anything, tasted anything, sniffed anything, listened to anything,
all of the
played
above,
anything?
I believe.
Okay.
What did I went to a 35th anniversary screening of Aliens.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that one.
At the bloody cinema. It was the theatrical cut, which I think was a bit frustrating because I think I've seen a director's cut. Listen to me. I
think I've seen actually a far superior experience.
I think I've seen the theatrical cut probably like the last 5 times I've watched this movie. So it was weird. It felt like stuff was missing. But it was still fun. I had a good time. My mum fell down the stairs. She missed the last step.
As a result of the film? Or
it was it might have been a result of the film, but that was the highlight of the film for me, so I couldn't stop laughing at that. But yeah, it's a 5-star movie. We've covered it on the podcast as well as like other Aliens movies and Alien movies. But yeah, it's a 5-star movie. It's like one of the best action blockbusters ever made, without a doubt. Yeah. So yeah, that was fun. And I don't know if I've seen anything. Oh, I watched the Rush Hour trilogy because sometimes
was it on ITV or something like that? I saw Rush Hour 2 was on the other day.
I think maybe I saw it advertised. And I was like, I'm going to go away and watch Rush Hour. And you know what? Some of it's aged terribly, and some of it hasn't aged at all. In terms of action comedies, I think Rush Hour 2 is as near perfect as you can get, because the chemistry between Chris Tucker and Jackie Chan is off the scale. But what's really weird is by the time Rush Hour 3 comes around, all that chemistry is just completely gone. So it's a bit weird.
Different camera.
It's a completely different camera. It's
sometimes when we're in a bad mood, me and Kat, we put on the clip of Chris Tucker doing that. Who, you, me, him.
Yeah. That's from the third movie. Do you know what I think is definitely... I think the outtakes at the end of each movie are often...
He ain't going to be in Rush Hour 3. I remember that. Like, people would just say that randomly at school.
Yeah. When someone falls over, he ain't going to be in Rush Hour 3. It's great. Yeah. And honestly, some of the jokes, like, I was just absolutely dying. I mean, they're a bit like risky, like very un-PC.
Yeah,
but
Ben's turning to Charlie saying, "He can't say that, can he?"
But yeah, you can't say that, can he? But I was absolutely cracking up. One of the best lines is they're talking about when did when did Detective Lee last go on a date? And Chris Tucker says, "When did you last go on a date? You're the rat." And you know, I've got no context for it, but I was absolutely cracking up. You know what? It's a good experience. It puts a smile on your face, especially if you're like fond of those movies. And, you know, me as a teenager I used to watch Jackie Chan movies all the time. So, yeah, that's it though. That's all I've watched.
Cool. What about you, Andy?
Very little. I've been still busy chipping away, but I think I mentioned it early on in passing. I've gone back to playing Hades. I had it on the Switch for a while and was playing it. It's good fun. You know, it's good. It's perfect for the amount of time I've got, for just the fact that you can go in, you can have 20 minutes or so having like a run through. You'll unlock a bit more stuff so you feel like you've progressed and done something, and then you can come away and then pick it back up another time. I'd had it on the Switch for a while, but it's on Xbox Game Pass now. And I've immediately already got further than I had on the Switch because it's easier with an Xbox controller on a big telly.
Yeah,
and I've done something that I feel terrible saying this, but there's a lot of games recently where people put a lot of time into sound design and story design and things like that, but I tend to play while I'm listening to a podcast or something. So I haven't really been experiencing that.
I need to, like, I put headphones in for everything. I was playing a game the other day, and Kat said, "Why do you could listen on the big speakers?" I'm like, "No, I need to drown everything out. I need to be completely in the game. I can't do anything else at the time."
Whereas I'm like, how many bits of media or tasks can I consume at one possible time? So I feel like my brain is splitting in half. No, but I actually did. I stopped and I listened to the voice acting and I absorbed a nice bit of lore. It's good. It's good fun.
Yeah, I've heard it's really good. And then it won like Game of the Year or something, right?
Yeah, you can see why. It's just effortlessly fun. So I'm back playing that again. I might try and finish it this time.
It's like a dungeon crawler like game, right?
Yeah, it's like a roguelike. So you go and basically you play until you die and then you're back to the very beginning, but you'll have got resources that allow you to unlock things so you can slowly like increase your chances or get different boons to help you get further. And the story, it's the fact that you die and go back to the start because you are effectively the Lord of the Underworld's son, like, and you're trying to escape. It's not just like, okay, that didn't happen, you're back to starting over again. It is that you've died, and so you'll never escape, and like that's part of the narrative, that you're going to die and get brought back to the start. So it feeds into it really well, and it's just a fun game, stabbing up all those monsters.
Lovely.
Yeah.
So I watched a few things since last time we spoke. I watched a couple of absolute bangers and one which was quite fun and interesting. The one that was quite fun and interesting is Sion Sono's latest film, Prisoners of the Ghostland.
Oh, yes.
Which is the Nicolas Cage movie. Sion Sono, he is kind of Takashi Miike style, crazy V cinema director. He did Suicide Club, which I think was maybe his biggest movie known in the West. And this is his first English language film. He had a heart attack whilst it was in production. It's okay. It's like, I mean, I'm not entirely sure. Maybe I need to watch it again, but it's not quite as crazy as you kind of expect something like that to be. It feels, and if you watch other Sion Sono movies, you expect a certain level of craziness, and this is nowhere near. It's not nowhere near as gory or anything. It feels a bit calmer.
Yeah, he's had a heart attack. He's got to take it easy.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's fun. It's definitely fun and interesting. Some of the visuals are quite. They're kind of mixing Japanese samurai culture with Old West culture in a weird blender. It's a very strange film. Also, Nicolas Cage. I won't spoil it if you do watch it. But
Nicolas
I've
Cage
got it on my list to watch.
there's one bit I was like, that's an interesting. Something blows off
Someone blows off.
Something blows off.
Nicolas Cage, dirty boy.
Well, something blows off, and you'll know what I mean when you watch it. So that was okay. A couple of absolute bangers I watched back to back. Another Nicolas Cage movie, Pig. And
I'm hearing good things about Pig.
Yeah.
And The Green Knight, which I know Ben has already spoken about. Green Knight is, amazing, really. Like, it's like such a visually incredible movie. Like, I don't know, it feels like every single frame is so precisely put together and astounding. It's weird. I've realized I've been pronouncing the guy's name is the knight is Garwin. I've been pronouncing it Garwain for years. So, and yeah, it's good. It's fantastic. But Pig, splendid. It's. I'm not ashamed to say it had me in tears at the end. It's so good.
Wow. Yeah, I'll have to get on and watch both of those. I already have the Green Knight on my list, but didn't that just, after all the like sudden disappearance of a UK cinema release, doesn't it just appeared on Prime now?
Yeah,
Prime, and I think some cinemas are showing it as well. Yeah, so Pig and Prisoners of the Ghostland might be a good Nicolas Cage double bill for me. Probably like a mad double bill to put together, but
I think that would work. They're similar in some ways, but Pig is not what I expected. And it kind of knows what you'd expect when you see Nicolas Cage and it's a revenge film. Someone steals his pig. But
I've heard a lot of people say don't expect it to be John Wick.
It's kind of like the anti John Wick, but it works so well. Like it, I don't know. Like I was kind of into it for most of it, and then towards the end, I was like, "Oh, this is really getting to me. This is changing me. This is changing my DNA. Jesus Christ, stop!" And then the credits rolled.
I thought you looked a little bit different this week. I was gonna say.
Yeah, your DNA's all untangled.
Your DNA's all unraveled. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Is that it? Apart from
from the film of the week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Demo Nick. Hey, I wonder if Demo was intentional.
Hey, Demo Nick. How you doing, mate? So, Demonic is a 2021 science fiction horror film written, co-produced, and directed by Neil Blomkamp. A young woman unleashes terrifying demons when supernatural forces at the root of a decades-old rift between mother and daughter are ruthlessly revealed. That's a bloody tongue twister.
So this is on IMDb at 4.2 out of 10. It's respectable. Rotten Tomatoes critic score has it at 15%. The audience score have it at 13%. The Rotten Tomatoes critics consensus. So I guess they all come together in a single room and they write this on a note together. They all hold the pen at the same time. It says Neil Blomkamp's return to low budget, high concept filmmaking bungles some interesting ideas, adding up to another demonic waste of the writer director's once promising talent. Oof.
Oh, that's harsh.
Bungles.
And I think, throw in the word bungles in there.
I know. A demonic waste of the writer's time. Letterboxd says it at 1.9. This guy liked it. Noah X. Russell put, what a fucking rad original take on the genre. He gave it 4 stars. Aki Lati put, Neil Blomkamp, best known for the Alien film that he never made, gave it 0.5 star. Of course, the Alien film that he never made was quite a big deal for quite a while, but it's never going to happen now, I don't think. No. And last one, Radio Mike, but a woeful shit show. And yes, I mean that in the worst possible way. 0.5 star.
Well,
yeah,
it wasn't just Alien 5, was it? Apparently there was going to be a Halo movie that he was going to make, and wasn't he attached to a RoboCop film as well for a while?
You could do that justice, I think.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. I don't know about you, but I just felt like this film just had no idea what it wanted to be, and it changed what it kind of was perceiving, what it kind of was trying to be every 15 minutes. Every 15 minutes, it was like, actually, this film is this. actually, it's this. Oh, you thought it was this, did you? Well, actually, it's this, and it does.
This is a lockdown movie made, right? Like it's a low budget made, sort of because of the limitations. I got that kind of vibe.
Yeah, I got that vibe, and I also got the vibe that it needed like a big name actor in it, because like imagine District 9, the same film but without Sharlto Copley. Imagine Elysium without Matt Damon. I mean, Elysium wasn't great, but
Sharlto wasn't big at the time, though, was he?
Sharlto Copley, I know because of District 9.
I think that was his breakout role. I think he needed someone to. He needed a Sharlto, a new Sharlto. That's a strange name, isn't it, Sharlto?
Great point. Great point. I didn't think of it like that, but I just feel like
this film, man himself.
This film really suffered from having. I don't want to be super critical, but I just feel like no one seemed to be any good, and that was a real. That was a.
Jesus, straight.
I don't want to be harsh, but no one seemed to be any good.
When you're watching a movie and you think, okay, story's lacking a bit. I'm not entirely sold by anything, but then the actors kind of like you start getting warmed up by the actors, and they're like, yeah, I'm starting to believe them, and I believe this. I just feel like with this, I wasn't sold by any.
Even the Bezzy mates, I was like, they're not even Bezzies.
No, they hate each other.
But also
they hate each other.
Like, part of it, we'll come to it in the story, but like there's just bits of it that you don't. Sometimes they don't deserve sympathy, and there's no consistency in the way that characters relate to each other, or I think conceptually as well. Like if you look at it on paper, I think that it's kind of built up as this is like a really unique take on something like that. But there are plenty of horror and sci-fi things that I haven't experienced, but this didn't feel like a new concept, and it felt like several component parts of other things that we've seen done before in some places. And it's unfortunate because I feel like executed differently or developed a bit more, this could have been something, but it's a little confused. You would have done a lot better if you'd stuck to one idea and start bringing it up here. I mean, hence the background here. Have you played or seen Clive Barker's Jericho? Because Neil Blomkamp has. Like the concept of there being and it comes from nowhere. So slight spoilers later in the film. When we suddenly go to the Vatican has a secret demon hunting special forces, but then it just leans into they're still churchmen, but they have machine guns, not necessarily like weapons. And I think we'll come to it later. There's so much video game logic in there that it.
And this is outside of the video game sequences.
Yeah, there's less video game stuff that happens in the video game world than outside.
This film's been getting a lot of stick because of the visuals that it uses in the video game bits, which are kind of low. Like I think we said, like PS3 graphics sort of.
Yeah, I think that was good.
I quite enjoyed that stuff.
I quite liked it.
It was like Lawnmower Man or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
it doesn't quite. You avoid the kind of uncanny valley stuff by making it not quite. As real as if you're trying to make it real by overtly saying this is a stylized video game look. I'd have gone further. I'd have cell shaded her when she went in there. But
I like how it like clips through the back of the head, so you see different. Also, I like how it uses like an isometric viewpoint. So it looks like you're playing The Sims at times. It's like just click where she needs to go. Just do the infinite money cheat. Like,
I would have happily seen them lean more into that.
Yeah, me too.
Or
100%.
like as we were going through, we had predictions as we were going through. Again, I watched this one with Karen, losing credibility for choosing films for a little while with her. But as we went through, she was like, "Oh, why is she almost 40 but she's dressing like a teenager? Maybe she is in a simulation." And then I went through that going, oh no, like if you're in a more realistic simulation because it's in your mind, maybe that's a more interesting concept. And then when it turned out to be special forces from the church, I was like, oh, okay.
Every time they came out of the video game thing, I was like, oh, like I enjoyed the stuff inside.
It felt like when you're playing Assassin's Creed and they come out of the simulation into that animus.
Come out of the animus.
Come out of the animus. Get back in there. That was a really interesting
care about
concept.
Desmond. Fuck off. Get in.
I liked the low poly sort of resolution thing because I thought, it feels like it's experimental tech. You know, they haven't quite worked out the kinks. This is kind of like it's some new science that they're kind of experimenting with. I like that. It felt like, there could be some problems. As soon as we introduce Demon Hunt in Vatican, I was completely over it. I was just like, what on earth? Absolutely not.
That twist is the opposite of Malignant, isn't it? That when, I'm not really on, but I'm back on. It's actually, maybe, absolutely not.
100%. And obviously spoilers, this is a new movie, but also I've never, despite the fact that they're in a sort of computer game like simulation for like two or three scenes, I have never ever experienced characters who are supposed to be in the real world act like NPCs in my life. The way they talk, the dialogue is just absolutely. I'm like, this can't be. If this comes out and it says, right, that was a simulation all along, I go, right, now that makes sense.
Yeah,
but it never does. It never does.
That was what I was gearing myself up for, but then it turns out I had too high expectations.
I mean, the easy way to describe this film, for me at least, is that it's just an absolute mess. I couldn't. The way I described it when I was talking about it with somebody, it's like a bar of soap. It's like a slippery bar of soap that you can't get a purchase on it. You grab hold of the soap as hard as you can, but it slips out your hands, and you're trying to grab it, scramble to grab it. No, you can't.
People are laughing at you. It's terrible.
People are laughing at you, just going, "Oh, I just want to wash myself with this bar of soap."
That core idea, where you've got like a mum who did some bad stuff. And she's in a coma, and then she's able to like VR into her mother's mind. I think there's some like really interesting concepts there, and some like quite scary ideas, like a bit Lawnmower Man, yeah. But I don't know. There's something quite unnerving about it when you realize there might be something else in there, and you don't quite know what that means and how that's going to manifest in that world.
You could have played with it in so many. You could have played this and actually saved yourself some budget. I didn't need a big old bird-faced demon. I could have played this more psychologically. You could have played this as a low-budget thing where it's a lot about lots of really intense one-on-one scenes between the mother and daughter, whatever this other entity is, without a visible change.
Yeah.
And there could have been some really interesting stuff just played with the way you're messing with the environment and so on. But yeah, I guess we'll come to it. I've
read some comparisons to The Cell as well.
So yeah, Cell came to mind when I was watching it, just because it's like the world. She's in someone else's mind, and the world is building up around their memories and their feelings or whatever.
I think just, if you want to make a movie about that, do it. If you want to make a movie about demon hunting Vatican people, do that as well. Don't marry the two things. Don't try and marry the two styles. And also, like, it does sort of play as a bit of a supernatural thriller in places as well, and it just feels like such a mess. It just feels like the narrative for me, it was like trying to wrangle a angry turkey. I just couldn't.
Or a bar of soap.
Yeah,
I've just used the same analogy twice, but
and are we to believe that Vatican sponsored special forces unit were just quickly, when they've invited this woman in, just dressing up as scientists for the day?
Yeah.
She's coming. Yes, doctor. Let's do the science that we're doing. No mention of church or demons here. And then, like, as soon as she's gone, everyone in the office is just getting their Bibles and the machine guns back out.
Yeah.
But where do we begin with this one? With a nightmare?
Wait, well, let's talk about nightmares. How many times did a scene play out and it was resolved by it was a dream? I mean, when you get that once in a movie, it is kind of frustrating, especially in this day and age with all the horror films we've seen and all the times we've seen that happen. But when it happens numerous times in a film, maybe 6 or 7, maybe not 6 or 7, but when do you get to the point where you're just like, right, enough?
It's
surely not.
It's like never scary as well. That's the problem with the dream sequences. Like it starts off with a dream sequence where it's like a mum on a bed and then she like sets a fire or something.
She's all ghouly to begin with. She walks into this house, and I noted as you walked in that our main character, Carrie, is it?
So her name's Carly.
Carly's
Yes.
walking in there, and she's got a shell suit on. I went, you want to be careful wearing that shell suit if you go near any fire. And then she obviously didn't heed my warnings, because the first thing is she walks into a mom. And also a mom is one of those people. It's only a certain type of person that would fall into this trap in the nightmare, because she's looking for a mom and a mom's calling her and she's going looking. That'd get me, because someone calls, but it would not get Karen. At our house, there are two ways of doing it. Like, if you're talking to each other across the house and one person can't hear the other one, I'm the kind of sucker that like Karen will say something. I go, what did you say? And I'll go closer to see what it was. Whereas Karen will stay really far away and go, can't hear you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, God. So I'll come to you. So she'd been fine in that situation. But Carly, she's like me. So she hears her mom going, and she goes, Mom, can't hear you. Say that again. Gets a bit closer. Are you in there? And she finally finds her. And the mom goes, oh, you never guess what you're standing in. And she goes, oh no, dog shit. And it isn't dog shit. It's bloody horrible petrol. And she burns her up alive.
Wait a minute. There's not enough spare to be going, just making puddles on the floor.
Well, that's why we got this whole problem. Yeah, Carly's mom's burning that shit up.
Fuck's sake, Carly.
And she burns her up, but it's okay. It's just a dream.
And there we start off. The opening scene is a dream. I feel like you're getting off on the wrong foot already. Also, so Carly is played by someone called Carly Pope. There's a scientist character called Michael, played by Michael J. Rogers. Seems like only those two seem to be playing characters who've got the same name as them. The rest are all different.
Maybe they're in witness protection, but like Homer Simpson, they can't quite grasp it. Right? When I say hello, Sarah, and press down on your foot, you respond with your line. Hello, Sarah. He's talking to you.
Oh no. Yeah, I mean, probably.
But yeah, so if you've got those ones, and her name's Sarah Pope as well. Maybe she's a secret Vatican agent.
Yeah. So Carly, I don't get the impression that these people are. This is going to sound awful. Particularly experienced actors. I don't recognize them from any sort of major productions or anything like that.
No,
I got that vibe anyway. But they're I think they're okay. I don't know. I just feel I didn't believe like anything really that came out of their mouths.
Yeah, I think it was a problem. It was obviously sure they might not have been the most experienced actors, but the dialogue was very clunky, very very clunky. Like literally, just yeah. Yeah. There was.
It's Ben's review. No one was good. It's just tough. And again, I think a lot of this, I don't want to pin anything on the door of the effects or anything that cost money. And actually, there are moments where people in this film are perfectly serviceable. Mm-hmm. I just feel like conceptually and in terms of the content that was written, again, that's the one thing that you could spend a little bit more time on without it being, that's the cheapest thing that you can spend more time on. You know what I mean? And and it could have done with maybe just a little bit more.
It just felt like all of the dialogue was exposition, like all of it, and not particularly good or interesting exposition either. It was like, right, okay, we kind of know that the plot of this film is a clusterfuck. So every time there's a character on screen, they're going to attempt to kind of explain something in and
they accept it all so quickly as well. We have a few examples of it, especially when we get to the medical center. We'll come. I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, but first, Carly just goes out, having had a nightmare. No one has to go. No one has any kind of schedule. No one has work or anything like that. But she has a text from Martin, saying, all right, do you want to catch up? And your first impression is always this some shady boyfriend or something like that. But then she gets a phone call from her other friend, Sam, and says, oh, come and see me. And she does. Very, very beautiful place they live in. I'm not sure where it is. But she goes to see her friend Sam and stops for 10 minutes and says, oh, Martin texted me.
She's there for 10 minutes. I mean, I understand that they were catching up for the first time in a long time. And it looked like they literally just had one quick glass of wine. Also, the friend was
like up in the morning.
The friend was like carrying the glass of wine as she came and greeted her in their car. And I was just, oh, are you all right? Is everything all right? She's just like she's like, oh, I'm just house sitting in this lovely extravagant pad and I'm just day drinking all day long. Come get smashed with me. It'd be great.
Yeah. After breakfast, have your breakfast wine and get stuck in. But she kind of immediately goes, oh, well, I've introduced you as a character now. I've got to go.
That is exactly what it felt like, didn't it? It just felt like, right, okay, so now we've got a friend. This friend's going to come back into it at some point. We don't really understand anything about their relationship at all, really. It kind of like dives into her past a little bit in the most obvious way of like, I don't think I ever supported you enough when all that stuff happened, which later we find out was like a massive, horrible tragedy involving a lot of people getting killed. But they kind of talk about it like, oh, remember that time you got your toe ran over by a truck? Oh, sad.
But then again, like, I know her mom, and we'll come to it. Her mom does a bad thing, but she doesn't necessarily do a bad thing to her. So I don't understand why she hates her so much.
What do you mean?
Oh, she goes to see her mom, and she goes to see her mom, and she goes, oh, bloody hate you. I think you're the worst, and you should die alone. But on the face of it, your mom has had some terrible, like, psychotic episode. She's incredibly ill. Yeah. So
I don't understand how that's helping anything.
She didn't try and kill Carly. She wasn't an abusive mom for years. Basically, she was a fine mom who was dead nice.
Some doctors have invented an amazing new technology, and you're going to use that to vent.
To say,
she just accepts it.
Got you. You could die now. The logic doesn't spring to me that you would hate your mom because she had a psychotic episode in your mind and then killed a load of people you didn't know. It wasn't that she abused you, it's just that she became a murderer one day, and Carly seems to have taken that really personally. So how dare you have a mental illness?
I feel like there was stuff that we didn't get. You know, we were kind of like supposed to just accept this relationship at surface level rather than actually. And what was really strange was like that the old boyfriend who wanted to meet up with her had something really, really important to tell her.
Oh yeah.
But the way he broaches the subject is by saying to her, "Oh, do you fancy meeting up and chatting about like hanging out?" That's how he. But then he goes, "Oh, by the way, I know that your mum is in a hospital in a coma."
And that's the first thing that they brings it up, right? So basically, that first day when we meet Sam, it then just like springs straight to bedtime, and then she does text Martin and say, "Yeah, right, I'll meet up with you," and then we're straight into the next day where we get some lovely side detail where it says, "Oh, I didn't know what to get you. Got you a Coke because I know you like it," and I was like, "Well, thank you for that." Thank you for that essential plot point. Carly likes Coke.
1 minute it was full of ice. The next minute it had no ice. That was very messy. The scene, it was like the most windy place they could film a scene as well. Literally hairs blowing all over the place. It was like... But also, did you believe that these two were ever in a relationship?
I just thought they were friends. Thought they were
I just thought they were friends. Yeah. No, they were
old pals. You're obviously shipping them, Ben.
So they weren't a couple. They weren't a couple.
No, I think they were just the three of them were just good friends.
Childhood friend. Got you. Yeah. Okay, right. But I don't know. I just felt like
Ben's ratings going up.
The fact that
okay, more believable.
The fact that he texted her out of the blue and she was a bit like, oh, I don't know if I should go there.
That seemed a bit relationshipy.
Made me feel like they had a history, and I know they've got a history as such, but I don't know, confusing.
But what the history is apparently, he goes on, we don't get into it just yet, but apparently when something went wrong with her mom, Martin, he gets fucking the short end of the stick in this entire film as Martin. He basically had some, I think Sam mentioned, he had some wild theories. and they weren't a fan of them. And when we meet him now, Martin goes, "Oh, yeah, sorry about all that." And she goes, "Yeah, I shouldn't have really kicked off at you so much." He goes, "Anyway, moving on from that, we're good. I did see your mom the other day. Yeah, I went in to do this medical trial thing. And yeah, saw her in a coma, clear as day. They asked for your phone number. I said I wasn't going to give it to them, and now I phoned you. But just FYI, your mom's there. She's in a coma, and they're going to give you a ring."
Surely you're open in text when you haven't spoken to somebody in years. If it is to tell her that, I've got something very important to talk to you about. Not, do you fancy catching up? Because
how do you send like a few emojis just to get the ball rolling?
Or the eggplant emoji.
I don't understand what any of those emojis mean. What is an eggplant? Is that a sexual thing?
It means a phallic object.
Does it?
If you've been sending it to, you just send it to everyone in your phone book. Do you like eggplant? Fancy come around tonight for some eggplant? Eggplant emoji, water emoji, wink emoji.
Okay. Well, so he's like, yeah, I went to this medical center. It's massive, but only 2 people work there. Weird. And it's called Therapol.
Therapol. And also for a massive office building, we take the fucking stairs everywhere. Come on.
Yeah.
So and he goes, "Oh, they asked for your phone number. I said no, but they'll find you anyway. So effectively, this is pointless." And so they do. They phone her outside office hours, though, so there's some flexibility in their working arrangements. He phoned.
Can you come in immediately? We're going to do some. It just all felt so convoluted to get where it needed to be. And also, like, if she hadn't spoken to Martin for ages, she cut him off because he was going on about her mum all the time. And the first thing he says is, "By the way, your mum," you'd be like, "What's wrong with you? Do you want to marry her? What's your problem?"
Yeah, eggplant emoji, water. What's you and my mum. If you just text that, your mum, eggplant, water. I'm like, what? How
your
dare
mum,
you?
Your mum is a vegetable.
Coma.
Your mom sleeping emoji, demons, computer.
I saw your mum sleeping. What? Yeah, I've been watching her sleep. No.
So your mum in bed the other day. She hasn't bloody got out of bed last time I saw her. What? How dare you? No, she's in a coma.
She couldn't get out of bed after I finished her. What? No, I didn't mean that. I don't mean that. I got your Coke.
You like that, don't you? You don't.
It was Pepsi I liked. Martin,
you don't know me at all, do you? You sick bastard.
Yeah.
Coke is the best.
Also, what a stretch. Do you like Coke? Yeah. Rarely, unlike most people in the universe, I enjoy Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
Coke? That rare and unusual drink.
Coke. Is Pepsi all right? You what? Is what all right? Disgusting.
The people do phone her. They say, "Can you come in immediately?" And thankfully, she's got nothing on the next day, so she does. She goes straight in and meets our 2 friends, the scientists, whose names are
Daniel and Michael.
Daniel and Michael.
Well, I don't know what else funny. But it just
it seems like the first in like a name.
You're Daniel, yeah. And
you're John.
Michael. You're John, yeah. And
I
you're
don't know.
Paul.
Then again, they are Vatican people. So maybe are they biblical names? Michael and Daniel. I don't know. I've never read the Bible. They seem kind of.
I think they are. Yeah.
Okay. So maybe that's something to do with it.
Michael's an angel. Daniel's in an Elton John song. Daniel, though, 2 PhDs. She's like, "Oh yeah, meet Dr. Scientist Daniel."
And what about you? I physician mostly. Like he doesn't have any. I wear business suits.
It was so pointless, this little conversation. Like, why does she care? Well, I mean, you work there. Your mum's in a coma in the next room. Why do you want the ins and outs of the cow's ass with me?
But it does feel like we're supposed to think that their alibi is really flimsy. It is like, me, a physician. I know doctoring things. Daniel concurs with me, of course.
He's like wearing a
just watched a
stethoscope,
medical
putting
drama.
out stuff.
Wearing a stethoscope. What's your three favorite patients you've ever had in your life?
Who did you study under at university? Dr. Mark Sloan, a very famous doctor. I'm sure you know Dr. Watson, and Dr. Quinn Medicine Woman. 3 doctors who I know all of.
Dr. Quinn Medicine Woman.
So it's really flimsy. He goes, "Oh, do you want to go see your mom?" And she goes in. She's there in a coma.
Well, I mean, I guess it might be like a sci-fi world, so maybe this kind of technology is everywhere. But I mean, to me, if someone was to say, "Yeah, your mind's gonna be kind of digitized and transferred into your mum's thoughts," I'd be pretty amazed. But she just says, "Yeah, whack the helmet on my head."
They sort of say it in a sentence and say, "Yeah, They say it in a sentence. Yeah, basically, you'll go into her memories. It'll be a world that she creates, obviously. But yeah. Your mum hasn't really communicated with us apart from to say that she wants to talk to you. So in your pop, I guess.
And she'd be like, "Wow, that Unreal Engine. It's madness what they can do with that these days."
You would totally say, before I go into the mind of, as far as I know, my insane mum. Yeah, before I go into the mind of my insane mom into a universe that she controls, have you got like a little testing room that I could just have a go in?
Like a Matrix, when they have like the armory bit or the dojo. Can I just go to a dojo for a bit? So I have to go straight into the fight. I don't want to go right up against the Agent Smith in the first second.
I just want to go to a dojo for a bit. That's all I want.
Give me the woman in the red dress test. I'll do that first. Let me do the easy ones first.
I just want to do like the tutorial or something first. I just want to go to a fight.
What are the controls for this?
I want to go to the far left of the screen and learn my moves. So just up there.
I've got to hold down X to run. This is bullshit. We all know it should be analog.
How do I duck? My look's inverted. I'm trying to look at the floor.
Also, they do explain that her mum's she's had some violent episodes in prison. She's in like locked-in syndrome.
Yeah.
With her inside her body. Like, she's not in a good way. She's covered in scars and like she looks pretty fucked up. I mean, you don't want to go anywhere near her brain.
You don't want to go in there at all. And they do like a scan of her. They get to do in a T-pose. And I thought, wouldn't it be wonderful? Yeah. Especially like in modern games, and she's all glitching out. If she just T-poses across the screen at some point.
Yeah.
Oh, she's popping in really badly.
I thought that was a little. I like that. That was cool. They should have made a lot more of all these bits, and then the whole film should have played out either in that. Yeah,
I think they should have just played that as straight. Maybe don't even have the demon stuff. Although I did like the kind of extra personality thing in the VR game with them, but just play that straight and just explore that as an interesting concept.
Just have it cool.
It's a really great idea.
You have this in this fun virtual world. Although we were just saying about, I quite like the stylized graphics, but now you've said about digitizing people, I've now realized that I would have liked this bit even more if the graphics had been like original Mortal Kombat and she was like a digitized person.
Yeah, it's all in 2D.
Yeah,
she was just like doing that.
Yeah,
like an idol pose.
But honestly, at this point, I thought certain things were quite promising.
Me too. I was like, this is way better than I.
If she would have gone into the brain and there was like a ghost in the machine in there somewhere, that's something like, wait, what's this? Where's it come from? Oh, we're not in control of it. Oh, do you know what I mean? Like something like that.
Oh, now you're trapped and you can't get out. Otherwise, you'll be in a coma, and now you're stuck in.
It could have gone like really dreamy as well, like they could have played with world logic. What's the word I'm thinking of? Like liminal spaces and that kind of thing. Like she just goes and talks to her mum, and the mum is like casually like, no, I'm not actually evil. You need to get out of here. Yeah, and I can't like that stuff.
And she just
I just came here to say you're a twat. I came here to tell you I'm sick of you. I've come into your brain to tell you I hate you. Goodbye.
It's like, okay,
the pettiest thing ever. So I've come all the way in.
Does that?
Gone into some experimental technology, and you're there. And she goes, "Turn around, Mum. I want you to see me giving you the finger before I leave you in this coma."
Like a troll, like an online troll.
Just she starts teabagging her mum.
Yeah.
And they're like, she's played Call of Duty before then, nice. And her mum's just going, no.
She's there, and mum's like going, oh, and she goes, go on, I'll give you 10 seconds to run. She's no scoping her as she's running across the map. She's yeah, but her mum basically says, oh, look, fine, I accept you think I'm a prick, so tell you what, I don't want to look at you though because I don't want to endanger you. Also, in this universe, no one's ever seen a film before, so like, you know, straight away there's whatever the opposite of red flags are here for she's been possessed by a demon, she's trying to protect me, so I'll just go out of this. I guess if I can't fix it, I will just get out of this simulation and never return. But she comes out of the computer having slagged her mom off and immediately agrees to come back tomorrow to do it again.
Yeah.
She comes out and she's like, oh, that's slagging her off. Really, I really enjoyed it. I really liked it.
Yeah, and Michael goes, so you're going to come back and do it again tomorrow? Can I?
Yeah.
I did not understand what her goal was in this sense. I thought if she's been away from mum for so long, just leave it at that. What is the point in what are you doing to yourself? You're not helping your mum. You're not helping yourself. Just why?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, they could have played with that a bit more, or she felt kind of drawn to it and she wasn't sure why. But it did. Even the guy, the physician, was trying to talk her into it to some extent, but he didn't really give. He wasn't very convincing. He was just like, "Look, you want to do this," and then
I've heard you know, you've got a lot to unpick. I'm a brain physician. I've
heard they got ice cream in there. Any flavor you want, any flavor.
In the trade, we call
the
it
wallpaper strawberry flavor.
I'm a psychologist.
He gets in there, licks it, and she's like, looks up to the camera out of the monitor, and she's like, "No, it isn't."
No, it fucking isn't. They're like, whoa.
Yeah, and again, it wouldn't be too difficult to achieve, right? It would be a case of like, oh, you know, this is for medical technology. I know you think your mom's a right bastard, but we'll pay you to come and help us perfect this technology so people can, because all, you know, if you master virtual reality brain technology, then great. How good.
Yeah. Also, they get a Steam achievement if you plays the game a second time.
Yeah, you've got it. Or now, if she's got, maybe that's one of those that gets you. You like get an achievement that walks in and says started the first level, and it's an odd number of achievement points, like 3, and it's like, how do I round that out?
Yeah.
Oh, finish the last level, get the other 2. So she goes back the next day. Is there anything in between that? Does she just?
So I think she
jumps right in. Jumps like they have the bed there, and they hold the hat. She just jumps into it. Just like,
They do like an interview of her afterwards, don't they? They get a set camera up and speak to her and sort of try to ask her about it, and she's like, "Oh, fuck it, had enough. See you later. I'm not interested." So she doesn't actually. At this point, she says no, she's not going to do it again. And then she goes home and I don't know, goes straight to bed and has a nightmare.
Maybe it's that. Is her friend Sam? Is that her name?
Her friend is Sam. Yeah. Oh yeah. Is this when they go back to her house and she's just there at her house?
No, that's later. That's after the after the demons amongst it. But she has to. Maybe there's a little bit of another nightmare where she just sees a mom or something, and she chooses to go back and goes right into the simulation again. This time she goes through there's like a tunnel that goes out into a lovely field. She's a mom again.
That was interesting. I think that in terms of visuals, like I was feeling a bit like Silent Hill, you know, when things, you know, when there's like a little gateway like that in Silent Hill and you go, got to go in it, see what's in there. I was getting those sort of vibes, and I was getting, I don't know, when you're in the simulation, everything else I could have left. But when I was in the simulation, I was feeling a little bit unsure and unnerved by the whole experience.
This bit was quite tense that's coming up now. And I like the fact, like Luke said, when you have this thing where you have, because you're in a simulation and things don't have to follow the same rules. So having people clip through walls or, you know, just the slight graphical tearing that they put in there. Or the fact is that you're not in the real world. So there can just be a tunnel in the middle of a house that you walk through and it opens out into a field. Like that's cool stuff that you can do in that thing. And you could have had some direction with the guys, because we get a little bit with the scientists here as well, because it's clearly evident that they could have communicated with her, or they could pull her out differently, and they choose not to because they have their own agenda.
Yeah, so she shouts at one point saying, "Pull me out," doesn't she? And they just go, "Nah, don't."
Just turn the speakers off.
Just pretend we haven't heard what she's saying. What's she saying?
Yeah, and that's Michael, because you're the guy. Daniel's like, "Oh, I'll do that." No, Daniel, don't. I'm going to leave her in here. But she goes to see the mom again, and she goes, "Oh, I told you, like, stay out of here because of terrible danger." Carly says, "Oh, why did you ask for me?" And she goes, "Oh, I didn't. It did." "What do you mean it?" And then we get some spookums. She flies up in the air, starts glitching around.
Yeah.
And this was quite
creepy.
This was quite tense. And then she runs into this house and she finds, is it a mom or is it it's Sam?
It's Sam.
She sees Sam,
who's dead on the floor. And we get the first visual of sad, depressed bird head man, who's constantly looking down at his toes. Oh.
So this building's like a sanitarium, isn't it? Where, which was kind of where the dream at the very beginning was happening. Yeah. So weird top heavy bird man.
He he cuts his wrists.
Yeah.
Vertically.
And it cuts Carly's arm. Ow.
Owie.
I mean, initially, you're never going to go back.
I mean, that's
never. I'm never going. Oh yeah, haptic feedback. That VR game was really realistic.
Yeah.
So he's a Freddy Krueger bird, isn't he? But in virtual reality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she gets out and she's like,
she's pissed off because they didn't
cut my wrist. Oh yeah, she's pissed off because of that. And then she gets all sewed, not sewed up, like wrapped up.
Gets a plaster.
Yeah. And she goes home. I think, is she done with them at that point, Ferropol?
Yeah,
I think so, yeah.
She chips off now, and even though her mom has definitely been proven innocent, anyone with even a passing understanding, like if you've just experienced fiction, then you go, "Oh, demon." All right. So, but she doesn't. Carly, there's not fiction in this universe. And she goes to see. Oh, she phones Sam as soon as she gets out and is relieved that Sam isn't dead. Because thank goodness.
She seems to believe that there's some sort of force in there which would somehow be able to kill Sam in the outside world. But what she doesn't seem to believe is that for some reason that her mum is being not necessarily controlled, but also like possessed by something, or that there's some other sort of force in there. She doesn't seem to get those signals. But when she sees Sam's dead body in this virtual world, or which is supposed to be her mum's brain, she goes, "Hang on a minute, she's dead for real. Better rig her up."
But she's fine.
Yeah.
But it is enough of a shock for her to nip and see Martin and get a little bit more insight into this. And we get some more history into this one as well. So we quickly established that when things went wrong with her mom, Martin had a theory and he had loads of sketchbooks and stuff, and they basically cut him off. They froze him out. He was cancelled in the 90s before being cancelled was a thing.
Don't blame them. Absolutely.
100%. Are you sure though? Because I totally get it. But her mom had gone insane. But like to say that, because we go, it's bloody demons, isn't it? And he goes, "Oh yeah, we both cut you out immediately." And then she asks him. I mean, I almost cancel him for saying, "Oh yes, so I believe this was built on a haunted land." A haunted fucking land, Martin. Come on.
Haunted. Basically, all of this stuff, all of his theories, the demonic possession and stuff, was like lore that in a game when you stumble into a room and all of the answers are in the same room. I mean, something kind of happened a bit like this in Resident Evil.
Resident 8. Yeah.
It's
like the same thing.
Where you stumble into a room and luckily all the mystery. The exposition room, all of the mystery has been, there's huge sketchbooks full of stuff. Photos are strewn everywhere. There are stuff pinned on the wall.
Hey, it's Basil Expedition.
Martin's basically got it in his shed, he's got a shed, and he has in there saying, "Look, here's the blueprints of the. Why do you build sanatoriums on haunted lands? Build them on like a brownfield site. Come on."
Martin, are you single? Well, yes, but I spend a lot of the time in my shed. And what are you doing? Well, I just get all the demon pictures out and sticking them up all over the wall. Nothing wrong with that.
But also, he has got a picture of, and it's the first one he comes to, the exact demon that she saw earlier, the big heavy head bird.
At least,
goes, because I have nightmares, and I sometimes wake up in the middle of the forest about that. But immediately, as soon as he's explained it, she's like, "No, fuck you, Martin. This is too much. Bye," and goes.
Yeah. At least he didn't have pictures of her mum everywhere. That's what I was worried about. Is he's going to walk in and go, "Just various different pictures of my mum asleep. You sick bastard." He's gone, no, it's all research. It's all research.
Is this where we get the reveal of what actually happened, or is this later when she goes, "Oh yeah, Mum went to a sanatorium one day and then was mad after that"?
I don't know. I don't know when we find out that she killed people.
She was popping away for work one day and then went mad. But yeah, it might be a bit later than this. Right now, we just get Martin answering a question that he was asked to and then getting punished for it again.
Yeah.
It just felt like this was like a fast-tracked... It was just like at some point during the production or the writing of the script, he went, where am I going with this again? Oh, yeah, demons and stuff. Yeah. Right, we're going to get this guy, right, and he's going to have all the demon stuff in a shed, and then we'll explain all that away, and then we'll move on to the next part of the film, which is all about demons and stuff, right?
And it isn't even the biggest reveal that Martin has. That one's to come after our next nightmare scene.
Yep.
So she goes home and Sam's there, right?
Yeah, which is weird, you know? I mean, not only is supposedly her best friend, but she hasn't seen her for a while, and they haven't exactly been on the best terms.
She's inside the house.
Yeah, she let herself in and just sits down drinking wine again. Fuck's sake.
She's like, Carly's not the only one with a problem here. Yeah, and this is what made me feel like there could have been something more to this, that maybe she was in some kind of simulation from the very beginning, because like she's wearing a shell suit jacket. That's clue number one. Secondly, she has lost contact with all of her friends who are somehow back in contact with her all of a sudden. So we were watching it thinking, oh, okay, is she in a simulation? She's in a coma and people are coming into her brain, but no.
Or maybe like the first time she went in the simulation, she never actually got out that first time. That first time she came out never actually happened. She's still in it for the rest of it.
Yeah, and she's just in a slightly higher resolution than, the double simulation when she sees her mom.
Because ray tracing on.
Yeah, of course. Her mom is an older generation, so she has PS3 graphics, whereas
Windows 95.
Whereas Carly is If she goes into a grandma's mind, it's literally EGA sort of text input adventure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no.
So basically, she just tells Sam to fuck off. She basically just says, I need to be alone. I've got a lot of stuff going on. I need to unpack. You letting yourself into my house and just helping yourself to my wine is not okay.
Sam doesn't take the hint at first, though. She's like, I'll tell you, I'll put you some dinner on. Because I'll tell you what, quick rundown. Went to see Martin. He spoke about demons. By the way, my mom's alive and in a coma. I've been into her brain this afternoon.
You what?
Yeah, no, I can't explain anymore. Basically, I just need a bit of space. I've been in a virtual reality nightmare. Demon cut my arm.
She looks like completely freaked out. And if I was Sam, I would respect her wishes and leave pretty promptly. But she does kind of hang on. She really wants to have a party. Like she really wants to drink some wine and watch and talk about boys and stuff, I guess.
There's a great reality show on Netflix, The Bachelor. We got to watch.
I've got my I bought Dream Phone with us. The sleepover board
that
game
is a
of
throwback.
choice.
That is a throwback.
What is it? Dream Phone. I brought Bop It.
Oh, you got Bop It round.
And then Carly basically says, I can't concentrate on Dream Phone and Bop It because all I've got swimming around in my head is that the Vatican is funding special black ops group
doesn't know
consisting
about that yet.
of priests.
She doesn't know that yet. She doesn't know this until she's Martin again. But she's like, I've just come into terms of the concept that there is a machine that you can go into someone's brain. You haven't got to be under anaesthetic for this to happen. They just switch it on and you go to sleep in the real world.
Put that on. You put that on and then immediately go in. It's great.
Literally, they've literally.
Oh, like duck hunt, yeah.
Yeah, when they switch it on, you're basically turning the video output in your brain from eyes to virtual reality. So like, no,
yeah,
it's like a swimming cap with a load of Mentos on it. Looks lovely.
Yeah. And that interfaces with your brain. So she immediately goes to bed again, only to wake up to some horrible tapping at the window. We see people have mobile phones in this, and it pisses me off so much. Sam hasn't bothered to ring her. She's just gone and started wazzing stones at the window
at 3 a.m.
Yeah, and she comes in and goes, oh, and this time Carly seems all right. She goes, oh, what are you like, you bloody idiot? All right, then we'll have some wine and a bit of a chat. And then Sam turns to her and goes, tell you what though, do you want to see this thing I can do? And Carly goes, dream phone, come on, it's a bit late for that, isn't it? And he goes, oh, it's not
do you want to see this thing I could do? And it's that thing where she pretends to take her thumb off. I can't even do it.
Yeah.
Luke, I'll bet Luke, you could do that. I'm sure you can.
Wait. No,
Wait a minute.
Wait, it's that, isn't it? Something like that. That's the one.
Yeah. She does that, and Carly goes, what the fuck? What are you?
Call an ambulance. And
what are you?
And then she goes, oh, if you like that, if you like that one, then you'll love this. And then she gets horrible bird face and puts it on, and then does an exorcist walk at her.
So this, I mean, the backwards walking person, I feel like that's been maybe overplayed a little bit. I didn't find it scary at all.
No.
I mean, it's kind of, I mean, a guy doing a backwards handstand running at you, I suppose it's kind of scary, especially when they knock over everything and they're like bashing into cupboards.
Especially when that's your house. You're like, clean this up. No one else doing that.
Yeah.
She didn't give a shit. Even Sam in her usual form, let alone bird demon form, doesn't give a shit about anyone else's house. How did she even break in?
Yeah, wazzing stones at the window.
Yeah.
Oh, Sam, unless you're a fucking glazier, don't know what you're playing at. But also, thinking about it, even though it would be spooky to have someone do a backwards handstand walk towards you at great speed in your house, how susceptible would that person be to you dropping an elbow on them as they ran towards you?
Just jump over them, jump on them, Mario them, just on the middle.
Just squat. You would get them so badly, and also their head is at perfect kicking height. If you did a drop kick,
I always feel this with most like horror villains. They're like chuck you off and boot him as hard as you can, like a football.
Yeah, because even if he's supernaturally strong, he's not supernaturally heavy.
Yeah, he's as heavy as a toy. So you could boot him, really far. I think it'd be quite satisfying to boot him really hard.
Finally, my dreams of kicking a child are now acceptable.
Into a goal.
Trap him under a bin.
Classic.
Yeah.
I think, but she doesn't do that. She gets
at this point.
Sorry, Ben, you go.
Andy. I was just going to say, at this point, I mean, it's more of a general point rather than about the plot. Did you guys watch any of Neil Blomkamp's stuff, the Oat Studio stuff on YouTube? Like,
I think I saw the early stuff, and it seemed quite promising.
And really, really good. Just like not just in terms of like the stories, but also like the production values and the effects and everything. Really, really good. So far with this, apart from like some of the ideas early on, but at this point in the film, I was like, is this Neil Blomkamp? Is it? Because it doesn't feel like, nothing about it made me feel like it was a Neil Blomkamp film or made me kind of recognize a style or anything at all.
Yeah,
about him as a filmmaker. Yeah. I felt completely lost at this stage.
It didn't feel like the lot of others, like, because we see so much of his films, his most famous films at least, that have like such an interesting, there's like a very biomechanical feel about a lot of it. You know, you look at your District 9s and there's some real good creativity in there as well. Like the throwaway bits with how the weapons in District 9 work, or the way that the aliens look, you know, sort of very alien looking things, but kind of in a human junkyard wearing human clothes. And this is I don't know, it's a simpler design, I guess. It's almost it's not even the big heavy bird face. It's like a plague mask and someone doing a backwards walk.
Yeah, I was watching the Red Letter Media review people, and they said that it seemed like he isn't really a horror movie fan, but he just wanted to make a horror movie because it's quite easy and they sell and they're quite profitable. Do you feel that? I feel like some of the cliche choices, the bird head, the plague doctor mask. I feel like that the Jericho Vatican soldiers.
Barker's Jericho. I agree with you. Like, it feels like it might have been an easier decision to cash in, or I'll give him the benefit of the doubt as well. Maybe there are other factors there that limited some of his design scope that he has, because as a rule, I give him a lot of credit for, and there is an element of technology in this with the virtual stuff. Again, you could have invested a little bit more in your concepting and you could have done something far more exciting. You could have angled in the technology element with what you were doing.
Yeah, I wonder what the story is behind this film. Like, why is it the way that it is? Might watch the making of bits, or
it's definitely a film. It's definitely a film of two halves, where the first half does seem quite promising. Not necessarily great, but and some of the ideas it puts forward are quite interesting. And I
conceptually, yes,
yeah. But the second half really does just seem to. We've described films as shitting the bed, and rather than shitting the bed at the ending, it shits the bed at probably about a halfway point.
At this point, this is, if it isn't in the process of doing it now, at very least, this is the film having terrible stomach cramps, but thinking, no, I'll try and go back to sleep. This will pass. It's not about to pass. Charlie locks herself in a room. The claws of the monster come through. And has she been got? No, that's okay, because it was just a nightmare.
Fucking hell.
And she runs to see Sam. Oh, by the way, before she turned out to be the bird monster, Sam did say, "Oh, P.S. If you can't find me, I'll be in the woods," which you would never do, because if a demon told you that, I ain't gonna do what the demon suggests.
What woods? There's loads of woods around there. What woods? Give me that. I want that free word thing where you can find exactly where you are.
Any three words. Give me the 2 meter square where you're going to be.
Yeah. Don't mug me off.
Isn't this where we pull back and we see the Vatican people have been watching her on a camera this entire time?
That's it. We see them.
They're in like a weapon lounge. They're in the training room for the Matrix.
Yeah, they're in the thing. So this is Clive Barker's Jericho, and I apologize. I said we hadn't heard about it yet. We hadn't had it confirmed yet. But one of the things Martin says is, "Oh, the Vatican, they got loads of money. They've got a Clive Barker's Jericho unit here. Less interesting powers than Clive Barker's Jericho had. Unlike sublime masterpiece, The Last of Us, I have finished Clive Barker's Jericho.
Is it good?
It's got a cliffhanger ending which will never be resolved. Absolute bullshit. Yeah. And it's one of those games as well. It was early Xbox 360. I was big into achievements at the time. I was like, I know, I'm going to make this unpleasant for myself by finishing it on the hardest fucking difficulty. But yeah, there are some interesting mechanics to it, and each member of the squad has got some cool powers. Your main guy is a guy that can basically directly control any of the characters. So you can do a squad-based shooter, really, and there's a story narrative for why all of a sudden you can change who you're controlling, which is cool. There's someone who can do there's a sniper that can do like ghost bullets and like steer bullets. There's another person who can he's like a healer who can regenerate other people. So all of them have got like a unique shooting mechanic based power that you can do.
The villains all look very Clive Barker-y.
They're very they're all very Clive Barker-y, and there's lots of kind of mutilated bodies and so on, and then the end is like a baby in a force field. Yeah, baby in a force field.
Favorite type of baby.
Yeah, it's very
like a Nazi sort of thing going?
There's kind of a cult, and they're a bit Nazi-ish, and they love the undead. But yeah, I don't remember exactly what happens in the plot. I just remember there's a cliffhanger that, like,
Is this another Xbox only film?
I think it was on PS3 as well.
Interesting.
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily recommend it, but it might be worth at least a let's play. But yeah, this is basically that squad. So there is like a squad of guys that have got kind of military equipment and machine guns and all of that stuff, but they also have Bibles and crosses and things like that, and they are getting ready to deal with this thing. And Daniel is there. And by the way, when he's not dressed as a scientist with 2 PhDs, he's covered in tattoos and so on as well. He's like a proper characterful Marine guy. And he's like, oh, do you think we should... she seems really bothered. Should we bring Carly into this, offer us some kind of protection? Michael, on the other hand, is like, there's no time for that. It's time to go, A squad. And they're getting ready to do an exorcism in the woods.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, I was almost like bargaining with the film. I was almost like,
please
don't do this.
Jesus Christ, please.
Don't. I don't want this to happen. I almost felt like TV show pilot at this stage now, where they were kind of just trying to throw all these different things in to go like, look, this is all this in the pilot. Imagine what would be in the show. Loads of stuff.
Yeah.
Clive Barker's Jericho's going to turn up. What a crossover. Meanwhile, so Carly goes to Sam's house and finds it wide open. Sam is gone. And she proceeds to meet the least helpful policeman in the world.
Oh, for God's sake. Yeah. I mean...
Oh, yeah. Forgot about this guy.
I get it, but yeah, ridiculous.
He seems so annoyed that he's been called out.
What's going on? Well, she's missing and the door's open and yeah, no sign of a struggle though. So I don't know if I can help you, to be fair.
And he says, "Oh, just give us 48 hours, and I think you'll fight." And she's like, "No, shouldn't you do something?" And surely you would. Like, I'm not a policeman, guys. I've never claimed to be. But
it's illegal.
well, wait a
minute.
Yeah,
it is actually illegal to pretend to be a policeman when you're not. But I'm pretty sure that the whole 48-hour thing, it isn't necessarily so honestly, I'll get in trouble with the superintendent if I call in a thing and it's been 46 hours even, I'd be done. This 40-hour thing is a nonsense. And then also, I'm pretty sure if there was no sign of your friend and you had gone to their house having had
the door was open,
some weird things, and just the doors were open and they were just gone, I'm sure they would at least go, tell you what, I'll put a call out, we'll have a drive around the block, or I'll see if there's any cars up near the woods that you seem to already know about. You would do something.
So he doesn't do anything. So Carly says, I'll go and help Martin. He seems to know what the crack is. At least I think he does. And we'll go travel to the woods. It's so vague. Where are we going?
Martin.
We're going to the woods. Okay. I mean, yeah, based on what?
The woods. The same woods that if you go down to today, you're going to have a big surprise. Those exact ones.
Not only the woods, but luckily the woods are really, really close by to the sanatorium as well.
That's where the sanatorium is. And if we haven't had it already, this is where we fill in the gaps as to what happened. So basically, short version is a mom went mad one day, was comatose for a bit, but then burned up a load of old people in an old people's home. Like literally burned up about 50 people. Oh, and P.S. she'd possibly been poisoning people as well. She's a wrong'un. And we saw a scene of the mom when she was being arrested having a little smile of her, and we saw her burning up all the old people who apparently all the staff also just watched her tip a load of petrol in and go set it on fire.
Oh, don't. Oh, what are you doing?
Don't bother,
everyone's
mate.
Dead.
Oh, you've burned us all up. She must have been really pissed off about the Brexit vote or something like that. You know, I'll teach you old guys. But she burns them all up. And goes to prison for it. And that's when she was mad. And that's what I was getting at earlier. So she hates her mom because, that's a bad thing. I don't condone anyone burning down an old people's home. That is.
Did she also poison? She did that, and if she went to somewhere else and poisoned.
Yeah, she poisoned people. Maybe that was the last straw. Maybe that was the last straw for Carly. She was like,
they could have gone.
Burning I can deal with. I'm disappointed in you. but I'm not actually angry. Like, I get it. I get it. Everyone's got stuff going on.
And the straw was the poison delivery device.
Poison?
That was the last straw, that.
That water.
You'd have wasted. That would have been a waste of. That's a waste of food as well. So not only have you poisoned people, you've made that food inedible. There's starving kids in the world, Mom. So I'm furious with you. But she never does anything to her. She even smiles at her before she's arrested. So
it's quite a sweet little smile.
It's a little smile, and you go, "Forgiven."
I can't stay mad at you. Come on.
I can't stay mad at that face. I can't stay mad, you little cheeky so and so.
I mean, you only burn people. It's not like you poisoned anyone. Hang on.
She did what? Yeah.
So,
so we're there. We go to the woods. We find Sam's shoe, and then in short order, also Sam. That's just a little breadcrumb to get us there. And they go, and she's walked into the woods. She goes, oh, they find a car.
Slept drove.
Where am I? Drove.
Have I driven here? And they go, oh, let's
get you to the sanatorium.
Let's get you home. And they're going to take her home. But then Sam goes, oh, they've got your mom at the sanatorium. They're going to do an exorcism. And they go, okay, then Sam, you get in the car, have one of these foil blankets, and then...
Oh, yeah, they wrap her up like a little jacket potato. Like it's all like a red oven light. Yeah. And like you took yourself in there, that weird foil.
You're definitely not gonna burn to death. That's definitely not.
They left her in there for too long. They bloody burnt it.
She's like, well, I'll be all right in this car. And it's like, well, don't shiver so much that you rub the material of your shell suit together, because that will go up.
Yeah.
And they go, well, I'll tell you what, we'll go and see what's happening with this exorcism. We, a couple of civilians with one gun between us, will go and see if this special forces team...
We'll look for 10 minutes, but if 10 minutes is up, then that's it. We're coming out. Oh, yeah, great. Good one, Martin. Yeah, we'll believe you.
If that demon sees you at 9:59, because I'm going. Goes,
yeah, I'm so see you later.
Fair enough. I won't pursue you, but they get there, and this is where we get full-on Resident Evil style exposition.
So Black Ops team has been massacred, including Daniel, who's in the car dying, and it's so exposition heavy that I almost don't think I've seen exposition like this in a modern film.
Yeah, I'd be tapping X on the controller during this.
This is X. This is X tapping controller. So he pretty much gives all of the blanks, even though the blanks have been tried to have been filled in like at least 10 times in this film. There's still a load of blanks that he needs to fill in. And there's even like, take this thing, the only thing that can kill the demon, and that's do crazy. It.
Yeah.
And the last breath is like
Why
him
did
going,
you get loads of machine guns then? Yeah,
if that's the only thing.
Just bring loads of them.
It just at this point it was like it made me think low budget, because all of this stuff happened off screen. The demon versus the special ops team all happened off screen. We only see the aftermath. It made me feel like
someone's got like has anyone got any cool props today? I've got this like little knife. Cool, that's like the magic knife of God. Then sure, we'll work it in.
Yeah, and you're right. If this had been James Wan and this had been Malignant, imagine what this scene would have been like.
Yeah. James Wan gets all the budget though.
Yeah, he's used it all up.
Yeah.
So Neil came along. Have you got any sort of
budget left?
Any parkour men and some
any of that tasty budget?
Oh, no.
I've got some budget left, but the truth is, I actually want all the budget, so it's gonna have to be a no. James, you greedy man.
James, we promised we'd share.
Spend it all on backwards, lady.
You can have all the exposition and I'll have all the action.
I've got this bird mask left in my boot. Do you want that?
It's so heavy. The
just a piece of shit I've had lying around for ages. You want it? It's so heavy.
It's made of lead.
But yeah, literally the thing that it gets me, Ben, I know you're a big Resident Evil fan. It's exactly the scene, when, not in the new one, slightly better acted, in the original Resident Evil 2, when Leon first arrives at the thing and he sees the policeman Marvin, it's like, it looks like your party has been cancelled.
Just been cancelled. Yeah.
Oh. So yeah, he goes. He's got enough energy to boot up the thing. He goes, and he goes again. Quick bit of exposition for you guys. we brought her here to do the exorcism, but it jumped into Michael.
It is like that. Maybe you, the master of unlocking, should take this lockpick.
Maybe
it's the only way to unpick a lock. Oh, thanks, Barry Burton. Yeah, cheers. Nice one.
Maybe you, the master of stabbing someone with the spear of God, can take this with you.
A whole Spec Ops team couldn't do it, but you, I know you can. Take it.
And then he comes back briefly and goes, "You'll have to go into the simulation."
He comes back briefly.
Why does she go back into simulation?
To waste some time.
It's literally just
to say bye to her mum.
So they basically go in there. No one interferes because I'll follow the wires. So they follow the wires a bit like Dr. Ellie Sadler in a far superior movie goes to find the electrical conduits, and they find in the creepy sanitarium with just candlelight. Candles haven't blown out, but all the electrical lights have been switched off. Her mom is there, still plugged into the Matrix, and Carly goes, "Right, I'm nipping in to see my mom."
Just nipping in. Now is not the time, Carly.
Martin goes,
he loves it though. It's the favourite game.
I'll nip right in. Got to do one level. Got to do one level.
Do one level, yeah. I can't keep going now. I need to finish I can't save it. Can't save it halfway through.
No, Mom, it's an online game. I can't really stop for dinner. So she goes into the Matrix while Martin pointlessly keeps guard. Martin goes, "Pointless. Oh, I know you've been a bad friend to me over the years, Carly, but I'll risk everything to guard you now while you go in and get your mom. Do you want me to take the demon killing knife?" And she goes, "No, I better keep this on me. If you just protect me with this gun,
you can't kill him."
Yeah, that'd be great. And just remember, the demon is no longer in my comatose mom or the virtual world. He's in quite you met the guy, you went for a day at the lab, so he's getting quite a hench sort of special forces man now that was pretending to be a physician. Watch out for him.
The one sequence where she was like kind of upside down talking to her mum was all right, visually interesting at least.
And that's
I expected the big showdown to be in the VR. It seemed to me like the big selling point or interesting point of this movie was the VR world. So surely the big showdown should be in that world. I don't know. It seems.
And there could have been some way to get him back in. Maybe they could have put the thing on Michael's head and put him back in there.
That's it. That's
it. Honestly,
that is it. And then they could have fought him in the VR world.
Yeah.
The demon side of it was like what 75% of the story, and it didn't, and it needed to be 0%.
I mean, it is called demonic. They started there and were like, we've got to have more demon in this.
I know, but
we've called it demonic now.
Yeah, but even as a title, demonic, I'm a bit like
Johnny Demonic, like mnemonic. It's all in the virtual world.
Name game.
It makes me feel like, and from looking at like the posters for it, it makes me feel like, like when there's like a supernatural thriller comes out and it's clearly heavily influenced by whatever supernatural thrillers are popular at the time, Paranormal Activity / Insidious / The Conjuring, but it's like a straight to DVD or straight to VOD horror film that isn't like got a big budget or a big name attached. But for some reason, it's been directed. This one's directed by Neil Blomkamp. It's just really strange.
Yeah. So, Carly's gone in. She sees her mom, and the long and short of it is that she goes, "Oh, Mom, I know you weren't bad after all. It was these bloody demons." She said, "Yeah, I've been trying to tell you that for a while." She said, "Well, you could have just explained it in plain language." And she said, "Oh, well, wouldn't have had all this fun. But in many ways, demonic was the friends you made along the way." She goes, "So will you come back with me and help me fight the monster?" And she goes, I'm too weak now, so I'm gonna fade away into oblivion. I'm gonna Padme this and give up on life at this point. And then she just goes bye, and then disappears. In the real world, her mom's body dies, and then because it's her mind, she
gets endgamed.
Simulation
or Infinity Wars.
Yeah, she Infinity Wars.
Yeah.
And she goes, Mom, but surely you've been in prison.
Platinum trophy pops up at the top of the screen.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, the last trophy is Infinity Ward it, and then it's like, oh, so yeah, she disappears. The game ends. It's one of those the narrative things. It's like Nier Automata where you can sacrifice your save game. So she does that. She's gone, and Carly is back up. While she was away though. Unfortunately, Martin confronted like a ghouly man in the shadows and failed to shoot him several times, having not heeded the advice of a dying man earlier on. He just shot him with a gun, and he's been got. Carly has a wander round. She pops back out to the car to see if Daniel has remained alive for any more exposition, but unfortunately, he's gone. And then she hears the moaning like she did in the dream at the very beginning. And again, me and Carly, cut from the same cloth here, she's a seeker. Someone's like going, Carly, goes, oh, can't hear me from there, better go and see who it is. She goes a bit closer, finds her car all burned up. Sam's had her chips.
I was confused. This wasn't clear to me. I didn't immediately think it was Sam until she said, Sam, I'm so sorry. I thought it was that Daniel because he was in the car as well, wasn't he? Daniel, the other dude who was dying.
Oh, he was just dead in his car as well. He was just like, yeah, he was still.
I was baffled. So like what?
So
what?
in passing, having captured Martin, the demons also just burned Sam up, and she sort of tried to climb out a little bit like Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru, but it's just a burnt skeleton now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh my god! If the demon would have done his whole monologue about liking to burn things before this, I would have gone, oh my god, he's gone and burned a friend alive. She was annoying, but oh dear, that's a shame.
She lets us up into your house. Always got a wine on.
The fact that the demon does that monologue afterwards, like it had no impact for me. I was literally just like,
the fact that the demon has anything to say is baffling. And also the fact that he has any motivations when he could have like got out of the simulation with any old jabroni. He could have got into Martin when he went to the simulation there. Why do you have to possess this man? If who he wants is Carly. Anyway, but you're right. So we get there. Sam's been burned up. She gives her a passing soz, I guess. And then
she's over it immediately. She drops to her knees like crying. I'm so sorry, Sam. And then stands up and goes, where to next?
Oh,
where's the next level?
That's Martin, and Martin is tied up, two hands.
Oh, he's moaning. Yeah.
And she only bothers to untie one of his hands, though, meaning he can be absolutely no use.
Well, get yourself free with the other hand. Come on.
Wait, he dies now, right? What? How does he die?
I think Martin's fine.
He doesn't die, of course, in the end.
Yeah, Martin's tied up still, meaning he's unable to help. Carly just runs off because Michael the demon turns up and he's doing a cool demon voice now, and he pops and sees Martin and goes, all right, Martin, is it? I like bloody burning people if I do, and after I've possessed this woman, I'll come back in her body. Which, for the work that a demon likes to do, which is killing people, surely a muscly, like, Black Ops guy who happens to have a job in the Vatican already, it's probably a better body to have than 38-year-old woman who owns a shell suit top.
I'm Ross Kemp, and I've been to all the prisons, and I've been with all the gangs, but now I'm getting voluntarily possessed by a demon.
That'd be a great sketch.
Here he comes now, then. Yeah. Oh, he's angry.
The toughest gangs, the harshest prisons, and now demonic possession.
Demonic possession. The final.
I can't do a Ross Kemp voice. It's beyond my range.
Sounds good. I like it. We should pitch it to somebody. Yeah. Let's pitch it directly to Ross Kemp. I'm sure he'd be open to it.
I'd like to, if we could possibly reunite both Mitchell brothers, I would like Steve McFadden in this as well. Phil Mitchell.
That'd be great, yeah.
So we'd get them both in, but yeah, he goes, after I come back in this other body, I'll burn you up right out like a kipper, mate. Smoke you. And then
Burn you up like a kipper.
Yeah. Oh, you'll be done nicely, mate. Char grilled, you'll be. He's really laying it on thick how much he likes to burn people up. I do.
But again, we never got this at any point really. I know there was like a burning bit at the start, and then I know she burned the whole thing. Yeah, I know, but I don't know.
After I
wasn't sold.
After I possessed her and burned you up, next person I'm possessing, Bernie Eccleston, because he's got the name for the thing I like to do the most, which is burning.
And he's had the same haircut for at least 50 years. And yeah.
Yes.
So this horrible, messy ending, like what? So Martin's being tortured by Michael. He like pursues her, and then she, while she's fighting with him, stabs him with this.
Pops him.
It says the lance here, but it's not very lancy, is it? It's kind of like a arrowhead.
Yeah, it is like an arrowhead. She pops him, and like he like gas like erupts out of his.
And he's so surprised. The demon that knows everything. The motivations and thought process of this demon are as chaotic as the rest of this film. Because he's managed to surprise her. He goes, I'm going to possess you now. And she goes, not if I stab you first, mate. I mean, again, we could have got rid of it if we'd seen an early scene in which she was real good at surprise stabbing people. Everyone calls her Carly the Shanker because that's what she does. And he goes, blooming hell, you've stabbed me. Look, what do you got this for? And he knocks it out of her hand. But then as a right,
he say like, what is that? Like,
how
did you get? He goes, how did you get it? Tell me where you got it from.
Yeah.
Oh, he's livid. He's absolutely livid. But he has a bit of a fit because he's been stabbed. And then Carly also, when she popped and saw Daniel, she nicked some night vision goggles from his truck.
Oh yeah.
Which for the remainder of the film, she proceeds to put on and off like it's a bloody. Oh, you're gonna wear them out.
This bit is literally like, oh, you remember Predator? Yeah, that was good. Do you remember that bit at the end of Silence of the Lambs as well? Yeah, I remember that as well. I imagine those bits together, right? But with none of the tension. Yeah, literally none of the tension, none of the fret. And also they're going to be popping them on and off every 2 seconds.
It's like one of those bits in a game. Again, it's a bit video gamey when it's like, okay, it's good for this little bit, but now I've gone back. Actually, the regular vision's probably better now. So she's literally up and down in it.
Yeah.
And then she puts it back on for this point, and we see the ghost bird with his big heavy head come out, and he possesses her, and she's thrashing around, and she's crawling along, and he's sort of whispering, going, "Oh, let us possess you then." And she goes, "All right." And then he stands up and he does a little bit of sitting down on the thing, going, "Oh, well, that was a long time coming. Time for me to relax, and I'll go back. I'll sit for just a minute, and then I'll go back and burn up Martin. But I'll savor it. I'll just enjoy having this body for a minute first." But then Carly goes, psych. And she goes, "I'm not really possessed." Stabs herself in the tummy. And he goes, "Oh, flaming hell." And then he just kind of collapses. And then he dies. The demon dies.
Yeah. The demon dies because he's allergic to God, to the spirit of God. But
he gets
Carly
isn't as well, right?
Carly isn't allergic to the spirit of God, so she survives.
She's fine.
Yeah,
she just gets
she's just been stabbed in the stomach.
She gets a regular amount of stabbing, and wakes up in hospital. Martin, who I immediately thought, well, all these people are dead. No one's going to believe in demons. He's going down for this.
Yeah.
Sam's been burned up in his car.
Literally everyone's dead. There's no...
I thought he would be possessed at the end. Like, there'd be like a little wink, nudge.
It needed... Right. I couldn't care less about it, but at the same time, it needed that. The fact that it just ends...
cuts out a bit, and they're watching it on a screen, and it's a simulation. And
or it just pans out and you get that isometric view as well. Pans out and she's
that'd be quite cool. Or like someone glitches, like a doctor walks into a wall and let's skip across the wall.
No, that's it. He comes in T-pose. The doctor comes in. You're free to go.
Can't get a staff these days. But no, she awakes in hospital. Martin makes amends with Martin. I was like, he's still alive? I thought he was.
Martin's. Oh, he's only tied up.
Yeah, I know, but
Martin basically experienced mild peril. Like nothing really happened to him.
We got cut into the demon like cut insignias into him, didn't he? Or did he? I don't think he did himself.
I thought the demon just embarrassed him by stripping him and tied him up a little bit.
Andy just thinks that's mild peril. That's a standard weekend for Andy.
Oh, from Tamworth. But
never got a stag night of Andy.
Yeah.
You'll end up with insignias all over you.
No,
tied to a lamppost.
I'll carve insignias into you. I'll threaten to come back and burn you, but I won't. It's just dance.
Just part of the fan. Fun.
And then the film ends with a whimper with Carly just leaving flowers at Angela's grave. Quite a nice little bit of music here. I was a bit like, yeah, it's all
she's
nice.
Been given like her mom. Yeah. I guess the church has pulled a few strings, and she's got a goodies grave now. A grave is like a white marble, and it says, "Ange, not a murderer. She was possessed."
Not a murderer. She was possessed, so it were all right.
Technically, she wasn't a murderer at all. It was the demon that did it.
That's what they all say. That is what they all say.
As for the demon, good riddance to bad rubbish. He's out of it. And that's it.
Ooh, ready for some name game?
Yeah,
always.
Okay. The first one is a film quite similar to Demonic. But in this one, the demon doesn't have a crow head, but a long, slender neck that is protected by the queen.
Diswanic.
The swan neck. Yeah.
I was so confused by the queen bit, but yeah. The swan neck. Okay.
The swan neck. So the next one, similar to Demonic again. But in this one, you know that bit where the demon cuts his wrist and it cuts her wrist. Instead of doing that, it just makes one of her digits hurt. Like, ow, my digits. Just one digit.
Just one digit.
Makes one of her digits hurt in an achy way.
Is it a finger or a toe?
The thumb ache.
The thumb ache, yeah.
The thumb ache.
Next one. Next one, I actually think this one is actually pretty good. So similar to Demonic, but the company doesn't use VR games to get the demon out, but they use an irrigation system.
The colonic.
Oh,
colonic.
That's good.
Yeah. Next one, the company is actually an exorcist barbershop quartet, and they need Carly to sing the bass parts to get the demon out.
The phonic. The polyphonic.
The deep phonic.
Nope.
Deep phonic? No, it's not.
I mean, it could be any part. She could be doing the tenor, but a barbershop quartet, obviously, they're called that because they sing
four phonics.
They're called that because they harmonize with each other.
It's so hard.
Yeah.
Okay. Harmonic.
Harmonic.
Oh, for God's sake, you literally said it.
Hard at all.
You literally said it. Overthinking it again. I didn't get any this week. 0.
You'll get this one. Last one. So they this company, the way they are going to defeat this demon in this version of the film, they're going to make Kylie so dumb that the demon just won't want her anymore.
Moronic.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, Luke, one for you. I know it's always nice for you to play along. So Carly and her mother are estranged but are reunited with virtual reality. But don't worry, there's no demons. Just listen to a Dr. Dre album.
Oh,
I don't know Dr. Dre albums.
My brain's gone completely numb, but I know exactly what it is. My brain's gone numb. That doesn't make any sense. It's shit.
Is it some sort of popular rap album?
Yes, it is. It's like the popular rap album, but 2 hours into a.
Just had to Google it to make sure I hadn't just absolutely.
I know exactly what it is. I know exactly what it is. It's Chronic.
It's the Chronic. That's right.
The Chronic. Oh, I knew it was so. It was somewhere in my brain box. It was somewhere in there. Have you got any more?
No, you got one, Ben.
Okay,
off
I got
the top
one.
of the dome.
Off the top of the dome. So at the end of this film, like, turns out the whole film was all about the relationship between Martin. His name Martin.
Yeah,
Martin and Carly, which is a lovely relationship they've got going on. Intimate and affectionate, but definitely not sexual.
Platonic.
It's platonic. Yeah, and I think that's actually probably true. I feel.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, those two.
I think the flowers he brings her in the last scene are definitely it's a friend's bouquet. It's a friend's get well soon. He hasn't spent a massive amount on that. I reckon he's got it from the shop at the hospital when he's arrived.
Classic. He's going to send her a picture of a what's it?
I think Martin's asexual anyway. That's a vibe I got.
all he cares about is demons.
Like Godzilla from the American movie. He lays eggs.
Oh.
It's just a vibe I got. I don't know if it's part of like true lore.
Martin,
but,
are you laying an egg right there? Shut up! Leave me alone. Close the door.
Yeah, I produce asexually in my shed. Although technically, why does he have to have all of his like hobbies in the shed if he lives alone? Just use the office.
Good point.
He
could have demon stuff in the kitchen. No one's going to
tea bags.
What are you doing?
Yeah,
you can teabag her. Well,
he could have that. He could have a demon book on his coffee table.
No.
Nice big color pictures.
The Ladybug First Book of Demons. Yeah.
Yeah. So we need to rate this movie. Do you rate it alright or not alright?
No, we haven't said that for a while.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go in fairly low to middle.
Go first, then. Go on. If you're gonna jump in,
D-.
Oh,
I feel like
that's super low.
This I don't know. I just didn't have much fun at all with this movie. I liked some of the VR stuff, but yeah, wasn't for me, I'm afraid.
No, I mean, I think I agree. I mean, I was going to say D-, but after talking about it, that thing has happened where I've kind of even angrier at it. But also, I get a feeling like I enjoyed it even less than you, not as a competition.
Yeah.
So, I mean, can I go for an E+? Is that horrifically low?
I mean, the plus gives a nice positive spin to it.
Yeah. I just think there were some interesting ideas, none of which were executed in a way which was anything close to being competent. Sorry, Neil. I just feel like it was just a mess, just in terms of it didn't know what it wanted to be, in terms of what type of film. Every 15 minutes or so, it just span on its axis and went in a different direction. And it was really, really difficult to be engaged and interested in. And I just think all of the actors, unfortunately, just weren't very good.
No one does anything good.
No one does anything good in this film. No one does. There wasn't one moment where I went, oh yeah, I'm really feeling it. Everyone was like, well, you're annoying.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Must have been filmed on Haunted Land.
It was definitely filmed on Haunted Land, yeah.
Yeah.
Nonsense. And also, I think I like took a huge chunk away from this movie just for the dude in the car, Daniel, at the end, doing his big exposition, final mission stuff. He's like, also, you can save just over there, and there's loads of bullets and health if you want to take it.
If you are going to save, I would save now. And if there's any side quests that you haven't done, you should really finish them before you go through that door, because you're not going to be able to go back until the ending at this point.
I honestly feel like that is unforgivable in any movie. If you put a character in and their sole purpose in the final act is to do something like that, I'm sorry, but your film's lost all credibility and I'm out. And E+ may be the lowest I've given a film for a long, long time, but there we go.
E+.
Oh, beast. I'm going to join Luke on a D-, and I think it's because, again, had this truly been an independent piece, like a novice filmmaker or so on, I could forgive an awful lot of it, because let's face it, I haven't made a feature film. There's a lot of things that you have to go through, and there are a lot of things that the cast and crew achieve that are beyond what my capabilities would be. But for the caliber of filmmaker and what we've seen from this filmmaker, the imagination and the visuals and the tying of high concept stuff together, it feels like this is very that'll do cinema. I don't think that I give enough credit to Neil Blomkamp and the rest of the people on this team to understand that they probably have an eye for quality, that they could have watched this. And I think, hand on heart, they wouldn't walk away and say, this is as happy as we could have been with this project, because I feel they're all capable of doing so much more. It feels like they did this and they were invested in this project to a level where they went, that's fine. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. It's proper. Yeah. It's proper. I'm in year 9. I ain't gonna take music for GCSE. If you ask me for a project, I'm I'll turn something in, but no, I'm not. I'm not breaking my back on this. I'm going to print some stuff off from Encarta and glue it to a bit of sugar paper.
Encarta.
Yeah.
This is so niche.
Yeah. This is the Encarta printout of projects.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I get it.
So that's that. I'll give it D- for having some fond memories, even though it pissed me off because there's a cliffhanger ending of Clive Barker's Jericho. But yeah, it's really nothing spectacular. It would be hard to recommend.
So D-, and E+. So next week, I think we're on to our October. Well, next week we're doing something a little bit different. I think we'll probably save that for when it happens.
So next week will be episode 200. So it's a celebration of sorts, but we've got stuff planned and, little exciting bits and bobs. But yeah, we're not going to be reviewing a movie as such. Maybe that's nice. Cleanse the palate after Demonic.
Yeah. That'll rest before we get into a new month of movies. One thing we would like people to do, though, we're going to be covering bits and pieces, which we'll reveal on the day, but there is going to be a chance that we'll cover some questions that people have got. So whether you follow us on the socials, whether you're in the Facebook group, shoot us over some questions you'd like us to cover about anything horror related. Not so much trivia, but, favorite things about the show, any other topics you guys want to throw out that you'd like questions on.
Yeah.
That's good.
Sounds wonderful. Looking
Whatever
forward
you
to
got, send them all over, and we'll get a few of them in, and we'll talk through them along with a few things that we'll bring along ourselves. A few surprises. Will we be rendered in sort of previous generation graphics next week? Who knows?
I hope so. I want to see a PS1 version of Andy Conduit Turner just sitting there.
Yeah, I'll see if I can get like a really old school graphical render coming up.
Amazing. There we go.
Lovely stuff. Cool. So thanks for listening. Thanks to Kovac Cameron for our theme music. Thanks to Acast for hosting the show. Thanks to the listeners. If you enjoyed, please consider rating and reviewing. Remember to join the Facebook group, Horror Hangout Board of Advisors. And thanks to my co-hosts, Ben and Andy, for being right horror dudes.
Thank you very much, Luke. Thank you very much, Andy.
Thanks,
Until
Ben.
next time. Until the 200th time next week.
200 times. What a time. But yeah, for now, bye, I guess.
Yep.
Night.
See you later.
Night, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.